even his husband adopted children, or
no, surrogate.
Okay. It's so they used their sperm and they created children, right? And then I was watching these fucking vicious, right-wing, ideologically captured people who were talking about how horrible they were and about this is rental womb, and they were talking about how it's satanic and all this like sick shit, and just shitting all over him and his husband for their I guess there's 2 children.
There's 2 of them, yeah.
And I'm watching this, I'm like, man, imagine being that dude, and you go over to that side and think, well, the right wing accepts me and loves me, and it's kind of a cool thing because I'm a gay guy, but I'm also a conservative now, and I've been red-pilled, and then you try to express a little bit about your own personal life, and these hateful assholes are coming after you, and he just wants to be a loving father. Wants to be a loving father with his husband.
And that basically speaks to a point that I make in chapter 1 of the Parasitic Mind, where I say, while I will be focusing on idea pathogens of the left, because the ecosystem that I inhabit is academia, so therefore all the bad ideas stem from leftist professors, this doesn't mean that I'm implying that the right cannot be parasitized by bad ideas as well. So the fact that I don't focus on the right doesn't mean that I am implicitly saying I support the right and not the left. Academia is run by leftists, therefore they're the ones who originate and spawn all those bullshit ideas that I discussed in the book. So you're exactly right. The political aisle that you lay on is not going to predict whether you can be parasitized.
Yeah, it's not. There's plenty of really shitty right-wing ideas too.
Exactly.
And there's plenty of shitty libertarian ideas. Like there's shitty ideas in all sorts of ideologies. And again, I think you should engage with each idea individually.
This is, by the way, why people think that I'm being coy when they ask me, so what do you identify in terms of your politics? And I say exactly what you just said. I'm an ideas guy. If you ask me what's your view on immigration or on the death penalty, you'd think I'm an ultra-conservative. If you ask me about gay rights and transgender rights, you'd think that I am a Portland, Oregon inhabitant. So depending on the issue you ask me, I move around to different parts because I'm an ideas guy. I think if more people had that commitment, then we would have been quite as tribalized.
I'm with you, and I think that's the only way we get out of this. Look, I'm very much, I lean far more left than I do right because I grew up on welfare. I grew up in poverty. We had food stamps when I was a kid. I remember those times. I remember being poor. And I would never say that I don't believe in social services or social safety net. I think that's crazy. That saved my family. It saved me. And my parents worked their way out of it. My mom and my stepdad worked their way out of that and eventually got off of it and eventually did well. I saw it happen. So I saw the benefit of hard work, but I also saw the benefit of having a social safety net.
Sure.
So I'm very progressive in that. But I value hard work and discipline more than fucking anything. And I when someone says, oh, I can't this because, I'm triggered by this, shut the fuck up. Like, I know what that is. I know weakness. I know nonsense. I know excuses. I know slovenly behavior. And it should never be praised. Ever. Because it's not good for you either. And the feelings that you get when someone, like, leaves and pretends that everything you're doing is fine and you need a mental health day. I get it. You need a mental health day. Like a friend of mine who's an employer, she employs people, and she was saying that, like, some of her employees are saying, I need a mental health day today. She's like, you're not sick. Get the fuck to work. Right. What are you talking? You want to get paid for this mental health day? Show the fuck up. We're not talking about your parents just died in a car accident. No, you have a high level of anxiety today. It's this Roe versus Wade thing. I saw it in the news and I need a mental health day. Fuck you. Show up at work. Show up at work and work harder. Get the fuck out of here.
You need to be a bit more animated.
I get so crazy about it because I know what it is.
But by the way, I see it in my own environment with the number of students who now file for special services through the Office of Disability or whatever it's called. So for the first 20 plus years as a professor, I almost had no one because when you file with them, for example, you get 50% more time on your exam, but you never find out because it's under it's confidential, so I never find out this person suffers from this issue, therefore that. So all I get is an instruction that person X needs 50% more time on the exam, right? Well, I used to never have any of these filings, and now in any given semester I may have, you know, quite a large percentage. 10% of the students are somehow in it. So what happened? There's been a growth in the incidence of, you know, whatever disability you had to file, but no, it's part of the grievance infrastructure, right?
There's been an infestation of indulgence.
Exactly.
Yeah, and look, you can always find reasons why you can't get out of bed. I can find reasons every day.
Right.
We can always. And by the way, those things, thinking in negative ways like that, it becomes a pattern. It becomes a part of the way your mind interfaces with the world. And it just creates more and more incentive for you to continue those patterns. And those patterns become comfortable. Just like becoming a loser, failing, falling apart, not following through with things, fucking up jobs, getting divorced all the time, gambling away all your money, going into like all those things are patterns. But all those patterns, they're so easy for people to fall into. You can't accept that. You cannot accept that. Because there's been plenty of people out there that have had those patterns. That's what I don't say the things that I say because I'm a cool person. I want to shit on people that be one. I want people to be strong in themselves. I want people to recognize this without being disappointed, without getting without betrayal, without honesty, without hard work, without a lot of friendship and love, and being a good person. It's hard to be a good person.
And Aristotle has already said all those things you just said.
Yes.
But you go on thinking you're the first one who said it.
No, I'm not. I definitely am not.
I'm teasing.
By the way.
Oh, you know, I didn't even know if it was an hour or 2 or 3.
Crazy, it flies by.
You are amazing.
The Parasitic Mind's available now. Did you do the audiobook? Please tell me you did.
No, it's from the time when you got angry at me, nothing has changed. It's not me. It's, I know.
Why don't they let you do it? Charles Fox. Your silky smooth voice, you know so much better than some fucking actor reading bullshit. With the next book, will you read it?
I am going to do everything in my power to adhere to your view.
Who is the publisher?
The publisher of the book is Regnery. The audiobook of
Regnery, please get your shit together. The Godfather should be reading his own book.
I am the Lebanese Barry White.
Yes. I mean, the smooth voice. I need it. I need it on the audiobook. I don't need... If I heard some other guy reading your words, I'd be like, wow.
Not just my words. In many cases, it's my personal history in Lebanon.
Right. Exactly. This is nonsense.
I'm with you, brother.
Let's go. Come on. Delete that old one. Start fresh with a new one. But either way, the book is fantastic. Just read it. Don't even get the audio version. But know that this man wrote it. It's available and it's awesome. I appreciate you, brother.
Oh, thank you so much.
And your podcast is available.
The Sad Truth on podcast, Apple, on YouTube,
on everything.
On everything.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, I got the whatever the one is.
The S class?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm not a. Like, I
know what you have.
I don't even know what I have. I know it's the big one. You know, the big one.
The big one.
But like I said, one time I told someone it was AMG because the wheels say AMG.
Right.
And then they were like, and I fucked up. I didn't turn into a drunk fight. Like, bitch, you didn't get an AMG. And I was like, yeah, I think I did. I don't know. It says AMG. I don't know what the fuck I have. Right. So I just got it. Tom's guy got it for me.
So you just don't have any interest in cars? Wish you had an interest in cars?
I do, because I look at, like, it looks fun. Like, it looks fun. Like, when getting in your car today, I was like, that would be fun to have this.
Yeah, it would be. You should get into cars. Does it get in the way you're drinking? Like, listen.
Well, number one, I don't drive much, because I do drink.
Right.
So I never have driven to the store. As soon as I heard someone talking about the parking rules at the store, I was like, who drives to the store? And I literally said that. I was like, I get an Uber to the store,
right.
I have some cocktails, and I Uber home. I'm really a stickler about drinking and driving.
Good for you.
I don't drink and drive at all.
That's smart.
Well, yeah, well, and so, like I said, I wouldn't want a Sprinter.
Sprinter van.
Yeah, and a driver. I'd like a driver.
We talked about, Jamie and I talked about taking one of the Sprinter vans and turning it into a mobile podcast studio.
Steve-O has that.
Has it?
Yeah, Steve-O has it. I mean, Steve-O's podcast is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah?
He does good fucking interviews. there's a thing.
Smart guy. Yeah.
He's a smart guy, and he has this thing where he kind of, I don't know if it's his past life of like not seeing consequence, but he doesn't have a problem asking a very uncomfortable question. And he doesn't have a problem telling a good story that may be too much. I can just tell the story about him and Pontius sharing a chick one time.
Let's get Joey Diaz in there.
Yeah, he's great, man. And he's like one of the best two guest bears we've ever had is Steve-O.
Really?
Yeah, I showed him my dick.
That made it a good show.
It was fucking. Steve-O's like a fucking crazy like that. Like he's fun.
Yeah.
He's just a fun dude.
I'm amazed at how healthy he is, considering all the shit that he's done. That guy has beat his body up in a way that very few people have. And still he's okay. He seems fine. He's walking around.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. I watched his special that he made, and he mixed in actual, like, his own written Jackass style stunts into his thing, into his stand-up, and like there's like parts where it goes back and forth, and he does some of the funniest Jackass style stunts I've ever seen. He does this one where he's bicycling around like an actual pro bicyclist, but instead of wearing the tight black shorts, he just painted his entire like penis and balls and up to his knees blatantly black.
And he's talking to people naked. He's naked. He's naked.
And he keeps crashing his bike right around people, and people are like, oh my god, they want to catch him and stuff, and then they see it. It's so funny.
He brought me over to his house when he was doing that. He was like, hey, man, would you come over to my house and help me with my special? I was like, I don't understand what the fuck's talking about. So I go over, and he's got his special. His special, he's also got these great clips. He's got a clip. He tells a story on stage about swallowing an ounce of marijuana in Europe and it getting stuck in his throat, and then him having to go into the. And I'm not going to tell his own story. It's his special, but he's got some fucking crazy stories. And I'm sitting there watching it, going like, I'm really thinking, God, man, I should have done this. Why didn't I do this for Travel Channel? I have great stories on Travel Channel. They show the footage, tell the story.
Yeah.
It's like really good. He's a solid dude, man. I'm glad he got sober. He's one of the guys who go, I'm glad he got sober.
Yeah.
And then I look at people that got sober and get bummed out, like the Brad Pitt. Like, it's just a party.
Didn't he get sober though because of the relationship? Like, wasn't that probably one of the reasons why he was drunk? Like she was mad at him.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Tommy knows good buddies.
There was like a thing where like something happened on the
The private jet that stopped, emergency stops. Yeah, I think it's. I'm not going to speak for Brad Pitt. I'm trying to get out of the business of talking shit about people.
Really?
Dude, I've done it a lot.
It's boozing.
Yeah, I know.
Once you start boozing, the lips start flapping and the words start flowing freely.
Like last night at the Vulcan.
Yeah, that green room was a
lot of
hot
fun.
tea. Hot
That was
tea
a lot
was
of
served.
fun. I love gossip, Josh.
I do too.
It's important, but there's just so much gossip floating around these days. It's intense.
It's almost like too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like you look at some of the gossip going around and you're like, I'm gonna need like half a day to sit and watch like 4 podcasts to figure out what's going on.
I just can't. I'm so balls deep in this Amber Heard, Johnny Depp podcast. It's not a podcast, trial. I can't stop.
Yeah, my
Can't
dad,
stop
my
every
dad
day.
too.
I was watching today. Today, her attorney said, I'm doing my best. She took a deep breath. Her attorney is in the middle of the whole thing. She's like, I'm doing my best. In the middle of like questioning.
Oh my God.
She's just giving up. She's like, this is fucking done. Like, I've got a crazy person as a client.
I don't know anything. I know that she said that he beat her up, and he said that she beat him up, right?
Well, he has recordings of her admitting she beat him up. There's no recordings ever of him saying that he beat her up. There's no evidence that he beat her up. There's no images of her battered and bruised, like she said. She said he punched her in the head, and then the next day there's photos of her, and there's nothing wrong with her. And he always wears rings, and it's one of the things they confronted her on. They said, Johnny always has rings on all of his fingers. Where are the marks on your face? She's insane. The best part, though, was her lying about donating the money to the ACLU and the Children's Hospital. She said, yes, I pledged the money. And they go, no, you said you donated the money. I did pledge the money. No, you said you donated the money. That's not true. That's incorrect. I pledged the money. She keeps saying that I pledged the money. Like she's a literal insane person.
So
like she's nodding. You should see if you can find that clip and play it because it's so bonkers.
So let me get this straight. She is the whole reason this is happening, correct?
he is suing her for defamation because she wrote a whole article saying that he beat her. She kept coming out and saying she's a victim of domestic abuse. It's 100% a smear campaign.
And so theoretically, she could have just said, "Hey, it's not working out. Can I have $100 million? I'll go my own way."
I don't think she got 100. She
No,
got 7.
But
He wouldn't have given her 100.
Or
Why would he give her
whatever.
100?
I don't know the laws.
They weren't married for that long, man. She got 7 million. They hear this. Yeah. Just play it right there. Give me some fun.
Liar. Bond.
Face
By yourself.
Yeah.
To one of the church. I'm not going to clear my name.
And there's a major bank, not a market.
So why did you donate 3.5 children? I pledged the first half or 3.5 to.
No, this is the wrong one. This is her attorney. You want to get his attorney, which is a woman. Her name's Claire. She was cross-examining her, crushing her. It was hilarious. It's hilarious to watch because she's saying, "Stop! That's not what I said. That's not what I asked. I asked, did you in fact not donate the money?" She said, "That's not true. I pledged the money."
That's correct.
She kept saying, "I pledged the money," and she's like, "That's not." And then she made this analogy. She said, "When you buy a house, you don't pay for it all at once. You get a mortgage." And it's like, you're not buying a house. You're donating the amount of money. She was, "Well, I couldn't because Johnny sued me." And then they said, "But Johnny didn't sue you until 18 months after you got that money." It's so wild. She's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Back it up a little. Back it up.
That's correct.
No, back it
Stated
up. Back it up.
you would be donating.
That's correct.
You stated you would be donating.
Well,
So in
I'll tell you,
October of 2018, you had received your entire $7 million divorce settlement. You agree with me.
That is correct.
And you hadn't yet been sued by Mr. Depp.
This is October. Correct.
So in this October 2018 interview, you said that you had, quote, donated, end quote, your entire divorce settlement to charity, right?
That's correct.
And in fact, your exact words were, quote, $7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, end quote. Right?
That's correct. I made that statement as soon as I got a divorce and we reached the settlement. That's when I pledged it right then.
Pledged it.
And you say this because you, quote, wanted nothing, end quote.
That is correct.
But you hadn't donated your entire $7 million settlement to charity at that point, had you?
That's incorrect.
Sitting here today, Ms. Heard, you still haven't donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity. Isn't that right?
Incorrect. I pledged the entirety of the
Ms. Heard,
settlement, $7
that's not my
million to
question.
charity, and if I
Ms. Heard,
intend to
Ms.
fulfill
Heard,
those
Ms.
obligations.
Heard, that's not my question. Please,
What was
try
your
to answer
question?
my question. Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million donated, not pledged, donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity.
I use pledge and donation synonymous with one another. They
But I
the same thing.
don't. Ms. Heard,
She's not looking at
Yeah.
I don't
Looks
use
at
it
everyone else.
synonymously.
That's how donations are paid.
Ms. Heard, respectfully, that's not my question. As of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to
Look at the kid
ACLU.
behind her.
Yes or no?
I have not yet.
And as of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, correct?
I have not yet. Johnny sued me.
So as of today, you have not donated, paid $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity, right?
I have not been able to fulfill those obligations yet.
And that's because you did want something, didn't you?
I didn't want anything and I didn't get anything.
You wanted Mr. Depp's money.
Didn't get it, wasn't interested in it. I loved Johnny, that's why I was with him.
You wanted praise for donating the money, right?
That's incorrect.
You wanted good press.
In general, one does want good press, yes.
You wanted to seem altruistic publicly.
Was my interest. My interest is in my name and clearing my name. And at the time, I was being called a liar and my motives were being questioned. I did see it as important to clear that up. I wanted to make a statement to make sure that